Hello and welcome back to Art of Awakening, giving a jump start to your spiritual genius so that you can leave those dark nights of the soul behind and create your own bright day of the soul. And today we have a special guest on today, and I would like to give a really warm welcome to today's guest, Von Galt. Aside from being a quantum healing hypnosis technique practitioner, Von holds the unusual distinction of also being an IT professional who holds an MBA in e-business. And with this dual background, Von is in a unique position to bridge the gap between two very different worldviews that have been very separate until now. And Von is a published author who is currently working on a new book on information about starseeds, indigos, awakening, and the ascension of Earth and its people. And this is information that her clients keep bringing through in sessions. But the interesting thing is that most of these people have never heard of these topics before in their lives. So welcome, Von. We are so glad to have you.
Yes, I'm really excited to be here and provide this information to your audience. So, yes.
Yes, and I think it's just the perfect topic to kick off 2020 and this whole decade that we've come before us, because I think this is really going to be a harbinger of what we're going to be seeing in these next few years. So, yeah. So Von, can you, before we dive in, can you tell us just a little bit about your background and what it is that you do, the QHHT work?
Yeah.
And your other background too.
Yeah, so basically, I am a normal working mom, okay? So I have to balance having a full-time job in the IT field here in Seattle, Washington, as well as juggling my responsibilities as a mom. On the side, I also have a private practice as a hypnosis practitioner through the Dolores Cannon method of hypnosis, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique. QHHT is what it's commonly known for. And you know, as a book writer, I'm always looking for new ways to get interesting content to write books about, and I write based off whatever is inspiring to me and whatever I am interested in. And my background that brought me to Dolores Cannon's method of hypnosis is that I have over 40 years of experience being raised in Tibetan Buddhism. And I'm Laotian, and Buddhism is very part of the fabric of my upbringing. And a lot of these quantum mystic studies in reincarnation, the wheel of Dharma, soul groups, old souls, awakening, and living your highest frequency reality through, you know, tackling the issues with the dark night of your soul. Those are very common topics in Tibetan Buddhism. And as I started to get into the research on consciousness and mindfulness studies that many Buddhist monks were volunteering to do through a lot of academic research, like the Dalai Lama was a very prominent part of encouraging, you know, working on bridging the left brain and the right brain and the hemisphere, bridging the connection between the metaphysical and the mainstream. And so I followed those research and was very fascinated with it, going into mindfulness and consciousness and trying to bring that into the fold, into a lot of different facets of society, that it ended up bringing me to Dolores Cannon's work, who I found through that she was doing 45 years of hypnosis and uncovering fascinating information. And so as a writer myself, a lot of the content that she was bringing forth, I'm already familiar with from my Tibetan Buddhist background and my Laotian background. And so it was just like walking into something I already know. And it was a great method to bring really rich content for my creative writing. As a result, I also help people heal themselves, help facilitate their healing, and help them find closure and answers to questions and challenges that they have been working on for most of their lives, trying to get to awakening or trying to address the dark night of the soul. So
Okay. So what types of people are you working with? Because you had mentioned that when you were speaking to me, that you're in Seattle, right?
yeah, I'm in Seattle.
Yeah.
So the very interesting thing is, and Seattle is very unique in that, you know, I met, we very close to where I live. There's a city engineer named Chuck Petties, and he went in his working city planning days. He actually worked with a couple of city planners back in 19, I think 87, and they decided, you know what, we really want to infuse our love for metaphysics into city planning, and we want to design the space in a way that we would attract higher frequency individuals and raise the consciousness of our city, because we want our city to prosper.
Yeah.
So what Chuck Petties and his team did as city engineers is, again, a great example of infusing that left brain and the right brain, and just, you know, connecting the dots there. But they mapped the ley lines of Seattle, and Seattle being over water, all sacred space is over water. The Puget Sound is underneath the city and the area. So they mapped all the ley lines, and then they built very tall, kind of Stonehenge type of architecture that is like half the size of skyscrapers in these points and ley lines, and put power plants in the points and ley lines all over Seattle. And
I am getting chills. I'm sorry, I just chills right now.
It's fascinating, and he actually worked with Buckminster Fuller in his early scholarly days. But anyway, so Seattle has been designed around sacred space, and I actually work in a building in Seattle that has a Stonehenge structure half the size of the skyscraper, and not far away are three you know, floor height level Tesla sculptures. So it's really kind of iconic and kind of mirroring the inspiration. But I don't necessarily know if it works, but as a result, they connected it to Portland. They connected the Leyline project to San Francisco, and in an effort to try to attract higher frequency individuals. And the West Coast is technological, and it is very progressive in moving forward into kind of a more awakened, a more higher frequency state. My point in bringing that up is, as a QHHT practitioner looking for rich material to write books about, I keep getting these high frequency people who, in Dolores Cannon's words, are indigo or starseeds. In Buddhism, they would call them the Tulku children.
Tulku. What does that mean?
So the Tulku children in Buddhism is they're really old souls that have information about metaphysics. In that tradition, it would be information about Tibetan Buddhism, the ancient mystic parts of it, and they have been born into this world to bring the metaphysical knowledge and share it with everyone else to help raise the frequency. So like whenever they're looking for a new Dalai Lama, for example, the monks would meditate, and they would through remote viewing try to locate a Tulku child that would help their tribe prosper, and kind of shepherd the tribe into the next phase of that Dalai Lama's life. So, but Tulku children have been around in Asia for a very, very long time. They crop up all over the world, and they're just high frequency old souls. So you recognize these Tulku children because they've come up with concepts, and all of a sudden they're a master in like a year or two, and they haven't even learned the alphabet. They have come in with old knowledge, and they're bringing it forth. And one of the things that I keep getting in my sessions are people wanting to know what their purpose is. They want to know how they can, kind of help their awakening. They want to raise their frequency so they can ascend to higher levels of consciousness. And I keep getting information about the great library in the spirit world.
Okay. But these are people from like they're from the IT world, right? Pretty much, or
Well, in Seattle, I get a unique badge, and every single QHHT practitioner who comes into this work gets a different set of
Mhm.
types of clients. Okay,
Mhm.
and the types of clients that I get are typically they're just coming here because they are going through their awakening, or they've had their awakening, or they're
Oh,
going
okay.
through the dark night of the soul, or they've had the
Got it.
dark night of
Okay.
the soul episode. And so they don't want to be a celebrity. They don't want do any be in the public eye. They just want to live their best life. They want to infuse their interest in metaphysics and their awakening into the careers. They want to
Mhm.
they're coming here because they're working out some issues in their personal life that they're tired of spinning their wheels, and they want to go straight to source and talk to their subconscious and understand why in the wheel of dharma,
Mhm.
this incarnation, do I continually manifest this type of people with this type of situation? And
Mhm.
oftentimes when I regress them into a QHHT session, 3 lifetimes come up and there's a theme, and then they
Mhm.
see why they're doing what they do. And so a light bulb comes on that they know what they need to address and work on a personal level, so they can get to the good part in their
Sure.
life, where they're like self-aware of how they create and manifest in this holographic reality. That's their awakening. That's the light bulb moment, is that
Right.
the user within the hologram realizes that it's just responding to their commands. And so instead of manifesting the same old story over again, they can
Mhm.
use QHHT as a cheat code and just cut right through to the good stuff and stop repeating the stuff that's not taking them anywhere in their life. And
Well,
so
just they're running the wrong program or something, right? And they have to, yeah.
yeah, there's a bug in their life, and they just need to turn that bug off, or they need to, being IT, they need a virus scan to just get rid of that part.